Alvin Bragg, the Democrat Trump prosecutor, is now moving to hold Trump in contempt. Very convenient, since he's a Republican, for him to go after his political opponents and try to use the law to batter them into oblivion. But that's what Alvin Bragg does. Of course, we know he's a Soros prosecutor who already declined to bring this case until Matthew Colangelo from the Biden administration came down and said, "You better do what I say." And of course he did. He abided. But now he's moving for contempt. Trump has already been gagged in this ridiculous case, so he cannot respond to people like Stormy Daniels when she releases a documentary bashing Donald Trump. Trump can't respond to Michael Cohen, who does podcasts all the time and shows up on Jen Psaki's show to play patty cake with her. So when Trump retweeted a Michael Avenatti truth, Alvin Bragg went haywire, as per usual. And so let's see what he submitted into the court. Another ridiculous filing in the rigged jurisdiction of the New York State Supreme Court, which is the low-level court. Don't let them fool you. They try to pretend like they're, regal or something. We're a Supreme Court. No, you're not, Judge Merchan. Give me a break. So here is what Alvin Bragg, who I don't know if we've even seen him in court yet, here's what his office sent in to the judge. They say, "All right, Judge Merchan, we're upset and we have something to say about it." So Bragg and his prosecutors, they show up, they say, "Your Honor, on April 1st, this court entered an order, and you ordered Trump to refrain from making statements about foreseeable witnesses about their participation in this case. Now, you said that if Trump made any statements, this could pose a very real threat to the integrity of judicial proceedings," which is a moniker, okay? It's the same stupid platitude as democracy. So integrity of judicial proceedings is, the sanctity of our democracy. We have to protect American democracy. It's the integrity of judicial proceedings is saving democracy. Same thing, just apply it differently. This is in a court now. By intimidating Trump's direct targets, as well as others who may be called to participate in these proceedings. But what about Michael Cohen running his mouth, or Stormy Daniels running her mouth? How can everybody run their mouths except Trump? That doesn't have any implication to the trial, but Trump responds to it. Doesn't even say anything, just retruths an Avenatti post, and that's it. So here they say Trump sought an appeal on this, and the court denied appeal. Now, the very next day, Bragg says, Trump came out over the weekend, and Trump willfully violated this court's order. Trump posted several social media posts attacking two known witnesses: convicted perjurer, serial liar Michael Cohen, that's a federal judge who said that, and a porn star, Stormy Daniels, who released a documentary and who has denied that the affair ever took place, as has Michael Cohen. Anyways, now these attacks unquestionably violate your order, Judge, and Trump's violation is willful. This is a continuation of conduct that you've already found to be something that impedes the orderly administration of this trial, the orderly administration of justice. Justice, 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 just like democracy. Meanwhile, they're dumping all over justice. What justice? Give me a break. This court warned Trump that any violation of this order will result in sanctions. And so Bragg says, and so you, Judge Merchan, should now hold Trump in criminal contempt for violating your order. Says Trump is not above the law. Again, a stupid platitude from these people. And he cannot simply disregard judicial orders that upset him. And both the public and the participants in the criminal trial deserve reassurance that the justice system stands ready to protect them, ready to protect Cohen and Stormy in the face of Trump's extreme and deliberate provocations, right? So Trump is gagged. They're free to go on the airwaves, on the media. Trump does anything, right? Trump didn't even say anything. He just retruthed some other things. Here is some background. On March 26th, the judge issued a gag order, illegal, unconstitutional in my opinion, but they don't care. Trump responded by not even tempering his inflammatory rhetoric. Trump's like, get bent. But instead, he turned his vitriol into the court's family, because the judge's daughter has been paid $93 million, her company has, from Democrats like Adam Schiff. And then her company writes little stupid advertisements on Facebook to pump their Democrat moron donors of more money. Trump's been indicted, says Adam Schiff Facebook ads, right? These newsletters go out that her company Authentic writes. They all get sent out. Trump's been indicted. Help us fight MAGA. Give us money. And, all the smooth brains over there watching MSNBC like, yeah, great. Here's more of my retirement. Here you go. So then Trump calls it out, as he should. This judge should have clearly recused himself as a matter of law based on the fact that his daughter's getting paid by Trump's opponent. The judge's daughter works for Joe Biden. All right, that's insane. So just put the hat on the other foot and see how you'd like it if the judge and the family worked for Trump. Would you think that was fair? No, the Democrats would be crying hysterically about it. Now, as a result, the court issued another order, said, don't you talk about my Democrat daughter, and warned Trump, if you violate this, there will be repercussions. Now, then Trump filed a petition to try to appeal this stuff. He sought an interim stay, and they denied that. And just one day after the Court of Appeals denied this, Trump posted on True Social. He made a statement that was reproduced by Michael Avenatti. Avenatti said, this case is ridiculous. Avenatti that we shared, he says, we can't be hypocrites when it comes to the First Amendment. He's sitting in prison. It's outrageous that Cohen and Daniels can do countless TV interviews, post on social media, make money on bogus documentaries, all by talking crap about Trump, but he's gagged and Trump is threatened with jail trial if he responds? Trump retruthed that. He said, hey, thank you, Michael Avenatti, for revealing the truth about two sleazebags who have, with their lies and misrepresentations, cost our country dearly. They say, oh, you can't, that's illegal, because he called them sleazebags, because they are. Now, Trump's second statement contained a picture of the official statement of Stormy Daniels that we've already played here. It's a video. I'm sorry, it's a picture. Trump said, look what I found. Will the fake news report it? No, of course not. And that was the image of Stormy Daniels and her I didn't sleep with him denial statement that she signed and confirmed that she denied the affair ever took place multiple times. Now, she turned around and recanted that, but the fact that Michael Cohen signed a similar document, so did Stormy Daniels, and they suddenly have flipped and become the key witnesses in this case, it's insane. Now, the third statement from Trump says, has Mark Pomerantz, the guy who resigned, screaming at Alvin Bragg, has he been prosecuted for his terrible acts inside and outside the DA's office? Remember, we don't know where Mark Pomerantz's communications are. Huge swath of them. Big questions. He was a former prosecutor. Was he using a private cell phone when he was communicating with the rest of the Manhattan DA's office? Maybe. Don't know, because we can't find the records. That's what Todd Blanche and the defense team have confirmed for us. So he was either using a personal cell phone or the data was deleted or something's wrong, but we don't have it. Why? Now, has disgraced attorney and felon Michael Cohen been prosecuted for his lying? Trump said only Trump people get prosecuted by this judge and these thugs. Dark day for our country. MAGA 2024. They're saying, boom, that's a violation. They say for criminal contempt, we have to prove the following. And here it's unequivocal. Your order was in place and Trump plainly violates the order. They were willful violations, knowingly done. And so you should impose sanctions and you should direct Trump to remove those from truth. And you should remind him again of his obligations under the order. And you, says Alvin Bragg, you, Judge Juan, Democrat judge donating to Biden, you should warn Trump that he can be punished with future additional sanctions, including imprisonment, if he tries this again. They say the first element of contempt is blah, blah, blah. We've already satisfied this, okay? The court has proper jurisdiction over Trump. You made it unequivocal. You said he's prohibited, and he didn't follow your orders. He has loudly and repeatedly complained that this gag order is unlawful in both court filings and public statements, but no court has agreed with his objections, and Trump's mere disagreement is no order with the order, is no basis for a defense to criminal contempt. And a lot of people are trying to get Trump ungagged. We're pausing to say shout out to Good Logic. Good Logic is making an attempt to do that, and unfortunately that attempt was denied today. The TRO denied from our friend Good Logic, Joe Neerman, next door on YouTube and elsewhere, trying to get Trump ungagged. As far as I know, the only journalist, the only person in New York trying to get the gag lifted for Trump who's not Trump's counsel is Good Logic, right? So we're trying to get Trump to be able to speak because that's what we want as the American people, to be able to hear from the man who is running for the presidency. But they try to gag him, and then Trump gets denied when he responds. So they say Trump violated the order. He posted the statements. He posted them on Truth. Right now, they're just painting by numbers because this is prosecutor, what they do. Second, Trump's social media posts are indisputably about known witnesses, perjurer Cohen and Nathan's hot dog Stormy Daniels. And third, Trump's social media posts concern Cohen and Daniels and their participation in this. And so we know it's about this. He's talking about a highly conflicted, corrupt judge. That's you, Judge. He's calling Bragg a Soros prosecutor because he is. He got $500,000 from George Soros specifically. And he's talking about other people in ways we don't like. He also made posts about Michael Cohen. Sounds like it's all true facts to me. Trump's statements about these two witnesses were a piece of his broader invective, and he's trying to attack the witnesses. And so therefore, he is now directly implicating their participation in this trial. He asked whether Michael Cohen's been prosecuted for lying. Why hasn't he, Alvin? How come? A federal judge says he probably lied again in your court. One way or the other, he lied to the federal judge when he took his plea deal, or he lied in front of Engeron. But you didn't prosecute him, Alvin. You prosecuted Alan Weisselberg because you needed another perjurer on the other side of the equation. So those claims, they say the same is true of Trump's statements about Stormy. Now, there is little doubt that they're going to use this statement to impeach Daniels' credibility in the upcoming trial. That was her little letter that says, I didn't do any of this. So, we had no relationship at all. And so Bragg continues to write, Trump should be gagged. Of course, he is gagged, but he should be sanctioned for violating the gag. Bragg says, we want $1,000 and no more, or to sentence Trump to no more than 30 days jail. Just to be clear about that. If you find him in contempt, Your Honor, Alvin Bragg is asking Judge Juan Merchan, another Democrat, one Democrat asks another Democrat, to authorize a court to impose a fine not exceeding $1,000 or to sentence Trump to no more than 30 days jail or both. Fine him and throw him in jail. Here, the court should impose the maximum fine. I'm sorry, this is the authorized amount. They're not asking for it. Here, this court should impose $1,000. Now, if he does it again, then it's interfering with the fair administration of justice, and then it warrants the imposition of the maximum fine. So he's saying Bragg's not recommending he goes to jail now, but he's saying you could go to jail. This court should also order Trump to remove those posts. And you should admonish Trump to comply with this order. And you should warn Trump that future violations of this order can be punished with not only fines, but here we go from Bragg. You better warn Trump that he could face incarceration of up to 30 days. It's absolutely critical that Trump immediately halt any conduct that would violate this order to protect the integrity of the ongoing trial. There is no integrity here at all, Alvin. A finding of criminal contempt, impose sanctions, and issue stark warnings that are the minimum remedies necessary to achieve this indispensable objective. Signed by the very dramatic, probably a theater kid, Christopher Conroy, over from Bragg's office. You see Matthew Colangelo, that's Joe Biden's guy, who's also on the list. He came from Joe Biden's DOJ. We don't see, Alvin Bragg's up here, but we don't know if he's in court or not. Don't know if he's taking his shoes off and doing the Tish maneuver, sitting back in the pews, being not really useful. But that is what Bragg sent in. So they want Trump gagged, they want Trump silenced, and they want him fined and threatened with further jail if he doesn't comply. So what's going on in New York? Trump attorney who has represented him but has been moving around from different cases was on with Fox News and was asked, do you think this is going to be a fair trial? Here's what Alina Habba had to say.
Based upon what happened yesterday, do you think Donald J. Trump will be able to get a fair trial?
No chance. There's no chance of a fair trial here. Remember, just because it's a jury doesn't mean that the judge can't sway them to go one way or another or make things difficult so that jury selection is impossible. That's what's happening yesterday. They spent the first few hours doing things that probably should have been done before a jury was waiting. That discourages jurors to want to sit on a panel. And then they come in and they're told that they can't get off from Passover if they observe it, and that you're going to have no break other than Wednesday in the middle of the week. So that messes up everybody's schedules, and people don't want to sit for that. That's why we saw half of the jurors say that they could not be impartial and want to walk.
So what's your reaction, Alina, to the judge saying, we understand that former President Trump wants to go to the Supreme Court for his other case. It's not going to happen. Might not be able to take off one day to see his son graduate high school. Is it standard for judges to turn requests like that down, or do they make those sorts of accommodations usually?
No, accommodations are always made by judges. That's why you go over the schedule. If there wasn't such a rigid schedule, you wouldn't be doing that in practice. You go over it, you look at holidays, you look at things of that nature. Remember something about this, Carly. This case has been investigated for 8 years. It wasn't brought by Cy Vance, and now DA Bragg is bringing this case after the president had announced that he was running for office again.
And it wasn't brought by Jeffrey Berman from the Southern District of New York, and it also wasn't brought by Alvin Bragg the first time. Okay, Alvin Bragg, one, was not going to bring the case. Mark Pomerantz and Kerry Dunn both resigned. They threw a little hissy fit temper tantrum. We didn't work all of our years to be lawyers for this. And they wrote this, nasty gram. Bragg, how dare you? And then Bragg couldn't figure out how to do it. So Joe Biden sent his little hatchet man, Matthew Colangelo, who's already worked for Obama, for Tish, prosecuting Trump, for the DOJ, arguably concocting those other cases against Trump with Jack Smith. And then he goes back with Alvin Bragg to relight the kindling under this case and brings the whole thing. It's directed by Joe. And now, this wasn't even scheduled for a trial. We were supposed to be in the J6 trial. The J6 trial is now bumped because we're at the Supreme Court. And so they accelerated this one back. And we know that Merchan was colluding with Judge Chutkan to get the trial back on track now. All eggs in this basket because they have no other options.
There's no coincidences here. So now he wants to rush it because November 2024 is an election, and he's probably hoping he's got this in the bag, even though it's on a completely discredited witnesses that we know have perjured themselves. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's an accommodation that would normally be made. And it's not just a discourtesy to the president. It's to all the people in there, the jurors, the attorneys that observe holidays. Never mind Barron's high school graduation. There's absolutely no rush after 8 years other than the fact that in November in 2024 is election day.
Well, the process is the pain, right? The process is the punishment. So if Judge Merchan, right, he's already giddies off here, coming out, making Trump stand up for him every day. All right, he's like, yeah, stand for me, Trump, kind of a thing. They love it. They're all maniacs. So if it doesn't matter what Trump requests, right? Trump could say, Your Honor, I would like to not campaign ever, and I'm going to be here every single day of the trial. He'd be like, well, I don't know. We may not need you here for the trial. You better get out there and campaign, right? It's like bizarro land. So whatever Trump asked for, the judge is just going, oh, your son's graduation? Oh, okay, nice. And we had a similar situation when Melania's mother died. Remember, the judge in that case was like, no, you're not going to that either. So it was always about punishing him, making it hurt, keeping him off the campaign trail so that the opportunity costs evaporate or massive for him, right? It's very expensive for him to be there in terms of the campaign, not in terms of money, in terms of time. Now let's talk about the money, right? Also in terms of the monetary costs, every dollar that the government spends prosecuting him comes out of our pockets. Trump's got to come up with that money from donors, volunteers. They have an endless litany of funds because we are all compelled to pay them, and they go to Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis, and Jack Smith. So here is Stephen A. Smith over on ESPN, who is calling this out, says, this is really pathetic from you people. It shows how weak and cowardly you are. Bullies, cheaters, and liars. That's the Democratic Party. And they raise up above them. Look at the people that they look to with pride and joy. Michael Cohen gets hundreds of thousands of views on every one of his stupid videos. Stormy Daniels gets, hagiography documentaries posted around her. E. Jean Carroll is hoisted up and paraded around everybody, all the cable news, right? These people are enamored by maniacs. And now they're using their levers of power to try to remove Trump. Stephen gets it. Here's what he says.
All you're doing is showing that you're scared you can't beat them on the issues and the merits. That's why he keeps saying it's a political campaign against me.
Because he's right.
That's why he keeps saying they can't beat me at the election, at the polls. This is the only way they could do it. And if you don't put him in jail, and he still goes from being a presumptive GOP nominee to the official GOP nominee, and he goes to the polls, even though he was going to whine about winning and being rigged again, you have given more fodder to that argument.
Absolutely. Yes, right.
Which means we'll never have peace in this country because tens of millions of people see what extent the other side is willing to go through just to keep him out of office because they can't beat him on their own merits. And they're going to say, hey, you trumped this up against him again, and we'll have no peace when all you got to do is figure out a way to beat him.
They can't. With what, Joe?
On the issues.
They can't.
But you haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, because they can't because their issues are bad. Their policies are bad. It's been a total disaster. America doesn't want to go to more war. We don't want an open border. We don't want most people to lop the genitals off their children, right? All the things. It's insane what their policy perspective is and what their prescriptions are for the rest of us. We lived through it. They had control after COVID. They got to mandate this, that, and the other thing, and we can all see it when we go to the grocery store. So the only thing they have left is to try to stop Trump. They're doing that by using the last levers of power that they have, and it's like a toddler with a firearm, right? It's insane. You would never allow that to happen. They don't even understand what they're doing. They don't even understand the long-term consequence of this, and it's going to ultimately, I think, expose who they are, and it's a painful process that we as Americans have to go through to see this and to sort of live through it. But Trump, of course, has the strength and the tenacity, maybe the only person in America or the world who could live with this onslaught and continue to persevere. But he's doing it, and by doing it, he's holding a mirror up for all of us to see who these people are, and we're going to be here continuing to expose them as they reveal themselves. So thank you for subscribing, my friends. Thank you for liking this video wherever it is you're joining us. We got some great links down in the description below. Watchingthewatchers.locals.com is our members-only community where we talk about other things that we can't squeeze into here on the show. We go live 6 days a week in the mornings at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. We'd love to have you as a member. We'd like to see you there and back here on the next one.